Before we start the video, once again I would like to remind you that this video is not made for kids. It's for older fans of the show and adults only. So shut the fuck up and enjoy the fucking video, you fucking twats. No Christmas without snow. Ulfstead Castle is the home to His Grace, the Earl of Sodor, Sir Robert Norramby. With his 5 engines on his estate railway, Glynn, Stephen, Millie, Neil, and Wilfred. Wait, is Wilfred sleeping again? Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, sorry. Bollocks.
I should think so too. It was nearing Christmas. Glynn and Neil were discussing among themselves while Stephen and Millie were carrying out their duties around the estate. "It's nearly time for the Earl's carol service," said Glynn. I wonder what we'll be singing."
Well, the Earl did say that you'll have a soul of the first verse of O Come, Emmanuel."
"Oh yes, he did," said Glynn. "And Millie will be having her solo of Noel Nouvelle."
"Your song's also what's gonna start off the event."
"Oh, of course."
"Hey, and what about snow? 'Cause there wasn't any snow last year."
Well, you're right about that," said Glynn. "I wonder if it's something to do with the ozone layer that my driver's been talking about. Well, I have noticed winters get warmer over the years. Could we have snow?" Wilfred then woke up.
"Snow? Ah, of course, snow. It can be both beautiful and a nuisance at the same time. Where I used to work in Norfolk and Suffolk, the snow wasn't quite so bad, as it's more towards the east of the country, and most of the time the Arctic winds come from the northwest and Greenland towards the 2 counties. It was still a problem though, but it was not as thick or deep as it would have been in other parts of the country. But there was one winter where it was very bad. The cold winds were coming in over from Siberia, and the snow came down thick and fast. It got so bad that I ended up getting stuck in a snowdrift near Bury St Edmunds. Thankfully, I was only pulling a goods train and not passengers. But I was stuck there for hours while the snow kept falling, and it was a race against time to get me dug out.
Wilfred!
I thought I would be snowed under.
You've not been paying attention, Wilfred. You've been asleep the whole time. Wilfred just fell back to sleep. Glynn and Neil then blew their whistles to wake him up. "Wilfred!"
Sorry. Have you not been hearing what we've been talking about? It's the Earl's carol service at the castle, and we're talking about what's being sung." "Right," said Wilfred. "Is the song In Dulce Jubilo going to be sung?" "It's set to Good Christian Men Rejoice, I think it is."
"You got to ask the Earl about that, but I'm sure he will oblige. Anyway, I've got to go. It's time for me to go to work." Later, Glynn was talking to Stephen about the lack of snow lately, as was the case last year. "I know," said Stephen. "The winters have been getting warmer." "But then again, it might be a silver lining," said Glynn. "A silver lining? It could be that the Earl could bring his little pipe organ out, or his chamber organ to play at the carol service." "I think it's a continual organ." "His Grace is a man of culture. He really likes his J.S. Bach and other Baroque musicians." "Aye, that's right," said Stephen. the recitals that the Earl holds in his music room while playing his pipe organ, or his continuing organ, his harpsichord or piano, or his other little pipe organs, his positive organ, you name it. Then Millie popped in.
What are you talking about? Are you meant to be talking about the snow? And why there isn't any? But there may be one solution. You could use a snow machine that can be used for the carol service. Wilfred can collect it as long as the lad's not dozing all the time.
Well, that's a good idea. I'll suggest it to his grace the next morning, as well as the organ too. Millie looked at Glynn.
It could be that the Earl won't be able to use his organ, because of the temperature difference.
Well, it doesn't hurt to ask, added Stephen. The next morning, Sir Robert came to see Glynn, Wilfred and Neil in their sheds. Good morning, everybody, said the Earl. Morning, Your Grace. I have a question for you. And what would that be, Glynn? Will you, by any chance, be bringing your continual organ out for the carol service? No. Sorry, Glynn, replied the Earl, as I don't want the cold weather to damage the pipes or detune them. And it costed a lot of money, and so do my other pipe organs, so I'll be bringing out one of my pianos. Well, I was hoping that you would play some Bach. Well, I could, but it'll have to be something that's more appropriate for the piano. But, said the Earl, what I was coming to say was that I plan to use one of the snow machines, as according to the Met Office, it doesn't seem likely that there'll be snow during the carol service. And during the carol See Among the Winter Snow, we can turn the snow machine on and it'll snow across the vicinity of the castle. Wilfred will go and bring the snow machine.
Hey, but the lad's asleep. Can you see, Your Grace?
And of course, Wilfred was. But then he opened a sleepy eye.
Oh, Wilfred, you always seem to be asleep when I have important announcements to make. Oh, sorry, Your Grace.
Anyway, you are to collect and deliver the snow machine for use for the carol service. It's located at Netford Yard.
Right away, sir,
said Wilfred, and then he left. And after Wilfred left, Glynn then approached the Earl again. So, have you at all decided what bits of Bach will be playing? The Earl turned to Glynn. I would have to look through my collection, and as I said, will have to be something that's playable on the piano. Something for the piano. You did work for the harpsichord, so it should be playable for the piano. Stephen, however, was disappointed at the prospect of having to use the snow machine instead of real snow. But as Glynn said, he had noticed the winters getting warmer over the years. And now that Stephen had come to think about it, he had noticed the same thing too. The day of the carol service had arrived. Wilfred had a busy day delivering the ice for the snow machine and ferrying the passengers to the carol service. While at the castle, the final preparations were being made by the Earl, the engines, the staff, as well as the brass band. Everyone was excited. That evening, everyone was gathered around the castle. The brass band were ready, and the Earl had his piano out. The Earl then made an announcement. It is with great pleasure that I am welcoming you all to the carol service on this Christmas Eve. I am glad to have you again for our annual carol service here at Ulfstead Castle. So, all of you will have the carols in your programs, and in the bold text, that is where all of us will be singing along. In the italic text, that is when one of the engines or somebody else has a solo. So, without further ado, we are going to start with O Come, Emmanuel, with Glynn singing the first verse as a solo with just the piano, and then the rest of you will join in with the brass band from the second verse onwards. The Earl sat down at his piano. Are you ready, Glynn? Are you ready to take it away?
With pleasure, your grace. O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel. Oh, your grace, stop. Did you feel that?
What is it, Glynn? Did I feel what, Then the Earl noticed it was starting to snow. Snow! Oh, how wonderful! Oh, great!
Oh, I had that little bit of fear that it would still snow.
C'est parfait, said Millie.
It's delightful,
said Wilfred. I don't know what it is. It's probably one of my lucky charms, said Stephen. And as the snow came down, Wilfred made a remark.
Yeah, I think the snow machine was probably not needed after all. I could have probably spent the time that I was delivering the thing just having a bit of extra sleep.
Millie looked scornfully at Wilfred. No, there is no time for sleeping. You have to be working and doing what you are told.
Oh, hey. Try and remember that next time the Earl has something for you to do and you're sleeping while he's telling you that.
Stephen and Glynn just laughed.
Well, I have to say that regardless of whether there is snow or no snow, it is still Christmas time, and the time to be just cheerful, just as I said. Christmas without snow is still Christmas.
Everyone agreed as the snow came down. Then the Earl remarked, where were we? Of course, we were in O Come, Emmanuel. Are you ready to take it away, Glynn? And don't be distracted by the snow.
Of course not, your grace,
laughed Glynn. And then it started again.
O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel. The mountain lonely exile here, to tell the Son of God appears. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel.
All together now.